on the call today, and Roger and I literally just got done finalizing this registration page for you to go on and register. Register whether you're going to be there in person or register if you're going to be on the Zoom. Okay, when you go to the form, you can select in person or Zoom on it. Obviously, in person is going to be far better than sitting in a Zoom call, but you know, not everybody's going to be in Baltimore. I understand that. But that's fresh off the press, ready to go. It's a really, really killer price for the workshop. It's probably the best price you'll ever find around town. It's the freemium version, but it's not going to be a free workshop like you are used to. It's going to be full of a lot of value and a lot of cool things happening. So I know Roger and I are getting pretty stoked and excited. Roger came home to boxes stacked up in front of his door of things for this for that whole weekend. And I see some of you guys are putting some comments in the thing. Just go look at the landing page. All the details are there. That's why I built it. So I don't have to keep repeating the details. But get yourself registered, whether you're going to attend on Zoom or in person. Okay. Let's see, Roger, anything you want to say, highlight, or anything before I go open to wins or anything first?
No, I think we're good. Going to get started. The big thing was the event, and I think you got that link in there. So
yeah, there's going to be an email going out and everything too. We got other marketing that's going to go out around this. Mickey, that link, you could share that with all of your local contacts that may want to be there. Add it. All right. That's a good link for them to go to and register on. But we will be sending out some emails, so you'll probably see other marketing and stuff. I just figured I'd give you guys early jump to get yourself registered on it since you're on the call here today. So
other people that aren't in this top results group can actually come as well? Anybody.
It's 100% going to be an open, free event. They can register via Zoom or register to be there in person. We're going to try to have the place booked here in the next kind of week to 2 weeks kind of thing. So in-person space might get booked up if we hit a number, and that's how big of the place, kind of thing is. But Zoom's obviously unlimited. The day of the event, Itzel will be on the Zoom link. She will be kind of moderating and managing the actual Zoom portion of it, because Roger and I will be tied up in the room, obviously teaching and whatnot. But yeah, any other questions on it? That's actually a good question. So any of you guys know other real estate people that might be somebody that would want to be on it? Send them the link, tell them to get themselves signed up. Somebody was about to say something.
I was just going to ask if you initially sign up in person, but then have to change it to Zoom, is that a big issue, or should we just reach out if that?
I would select both boxes when you register. Then, if you're a little unsure. Actually, I'd rather you not select in person unless you think for sure you're going to be in person.
Okay.
Because we're going to be kind of monitoring the in-person one over the next week, 2 weeks, to get a feel for how many people in person as we start to look for a place. So we have an idea of how big of a place we need to be picking up for this. Okay.
Okay. All right.
I mean, if we're talking you specific and you register in person and all of a sudden something changes and you need the Zoom link, we'll get you that. What I don't want is you telling somebody else to do that, because 48 hours in front of this event, we're going to fire off the Zoom link and I'm probably not going to pay attention to emails after that.
No, it would be for me. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, in that case, just register whichever one you think is more likely. Okay. Marie, did you decide, are you going to be Baltimore? No. Are you rerouting yourself to Florida or wherever you were going?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't booked the flight yet, but I looked at flight options, so it's pretty good.
Okay. So then with that being said, Roger, JP, myself, Marie, we should all chat, because if we're looking at possibly splitting an Airbnb, that might be 4 of us all crashing a joint together. Mickey, you're always welcome to join us too.
I think Wilson really wants me over his house.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, let me hear some wins from you guys first before we kind of kick into a few things today. Who had some good stuff come up over the last week? Nobody had anything good. That's a problem.
Can I give you a non-business win?
Absolutely.
We're buying a vacation home up in Sholo, Arizona. That's lakefront on 2.5 acres. So we got the accepted contract today.
Which lake?
White Mountain Lake. It's a private lake.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. Boys can jet ski and ride boats and go fishing.
Nice. Congrats. Who else has got something cool? Mickey, I see you raised your hand.
It's very cool and non-business related, but mindset related. So my oldest, she's 16, and she has organized herself a abroad study session. So she's leaving on September 18th for 3 months. She's going to do 2 months in Congo and then 1 month in Switzerland. And it's pretty cool what she's going to be doing. And I think, as a child of an entrepreneur, this is actually so cool because she knows that she can do whatever she wants. It's just so fun to see.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. Anybody else?
I got a win. Last week, I got reached out to by, I guess, one of the head developers of RealFlow. They're revamping RealFlow completely. Like everything that we know about RealFlow is going to change, I guess, the look, the feel, the functionality, the features and all that. And they're reaching out to me to figure out what I'm doing for task management, and in exchange for like a quick 15-minute video on the program. We use Teamwork right now for task management because the RealFlow task management is garbage. And so I just did a quick video on what we're doing there, and he's like, all right, awesome. So tell me what counties you want AI for. And I was like, okay. And I gave him like 5 or 6 counties in Florida. And so I got some AI in exchange for a 15-minute video, which is awesome.
Boom. Love it.
Yeah, man.
Anybody else? Kim? Yeah, share your win, Kim.
Which one? I don't know which one you're talking about.
The one that you fired somebody. That one.
Yeah, I guess that is a win for me, because I'm sure a lot of people know that I've been having a struggle with virtual assistants. Just finding the right virtual assistant that fits with our business. So we recently had to let go of our virtual assistant. So that's a win for me because I feel so much relief after I did it. I told Shawn, it's like a weight has been lifted off my shoulder. So now we're in the market for a new virtual assistant. So if you have any recommendations.
I don't know if you're in the market just yet. Show your jets a little bit, but it was good to hear this like complete burden of stress and time management and people management come off of Kim, off of her shoulders. And you also have a out-of-state deal that you closed that you're working on it, which was nice to hear too. So
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Anybody else going once, going twice? Okay. Some of y'all are quiet every week when it comes to wins. I'm wondering what you're doing in your business. Chris, you actually had a good win this past week.
Yeah, absolutely. Quite a few good stuff's going on. So we started to actually produce content. Get out of our comfort zone. Yeah, I know, right? I'm pretty observant, laid back, and I like to listen a lot. But we decided, hey, it's time to put it down. And after the Monday call with the short snippet of what to do, we just started producing content and getting stuff out there. And yeah, on top of that, we got 2 deals in the works that we closed on. So we're getting that going, man. And things have been pretty good. Things have been pretty awesome.
Love it. Good job. All right, I'm gonna ask a question, and I'm gonna have you guys go into the chat box. and post the answer to the question. So go ahead and pull the chat up. I'll give you a second to get your chat ready to go. And in the chat box, I want you to type in the 2 highest priority activities you're needing to get done this week. See a lot of single items. Where's the 2? See what we got so far. Sophia says marketing. Man, that is a broad definition. Sophia's got marketing and prospecting. 2 very broad topics. We're gonna have you elaborate there in a second. Mickey says moving. It's the primary thing, huh? Segal, private money lending, still broad. Let's see, Rebecca's prospecting. John, here we go. John, create videos for the website. Still would like to see some more specifics there. Mickey staying sane, that's her second one. Marie, finish latest ebook, translate to Spanish. Cover made on Fiverr. Very, very detailed there. Lorraine, build out mortgage notes. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna put a couple of you guys on the hot seat here. Sophia, you're going first because you were the first one to throw in, so you get the reward of going first.
Should have known.
What do you mean by marketing and prospecting?
So in terms of marketing, I'm talking about letters. I'm talking about, using Instagram and Facebook ads, getting comfortable with those just because I'm not yet. And in terms of prospecting, just trying to hone in on, one process, I should say, because I feel like when it comes to prospecting, I'm all over the place. But building the content for the website has definitely been helping with that. So just trying to create one set process and that's it.
Okay. All right, let's kind of skip it around. Mickey, I'm not going to put you on the spot about moving. Sophia's prospecting there. Segal, what do you mean by private money lender?
I have met a really, really good private money lender. She's a landlord here and she's got a lot of assets around the world and she's really interested in lending to projects. I've had challenges with hard money lenders. They've been very hard. Wow, I am not getting this, but hopefully something will, our inventory is very low, so I have to start marketing for houses on Maui. And I'm looking also into investing in the Big Island because Maui is really, really low inventory right now. Everything is, when it comes out, it's like an hour and it's gone. And beyond asking price, because I think a lot of people are, as they're online now working, they're moving to Maui, and Maui is really full. So yeah, so I've got 3 private lenders that I met and just raising money, putting the credibility pack together and seeing what we can do. Because right now the median price is like $1,100,000 in Maui for really bad.
Gotcha. So building some relationship on that one. Okay. Let me jump down to Marie. Finish the latest ebook, translated to Spanish, get the cover made on Fiverr. What do we got left to do?
I just got all those tax examples from my bookkeeper. So it's just getting those all plugged in and then finalizing it, getting it on Fiverr, translated, cover. So simple stuff.
Lorraine, build out mortgage notes website page. Elaborate. I already know, but elaborate for everybody else.
So if you already know, why am I
Elaborate
repeating?
for everybody else.
Everybody else doesn't need to know. You'll see it when it comes out. No, I just need to, I'm going to use Kim's landing page as a template and basically mirror that to build out, I mean, I guess it's sort of like a landing page that I have now for the mortgage notes. And then I want to create a sort of welcome video similar to what I have on the other pages, just kind of outlining what the process is and what the next steps.
Okay. Pretty good asset for her specific kind of niche that she's carved out in the real estate space here. And I say asset because it's a place to drive a lot of that traffic to, right? And it's funny how these comments came in. The early ones were kind of broad strokes, and now we're going to get really granular on some of these. Kim being the first one that's super granular here. Get more contracts signed this week. Create videos for our pre-foreclosure landing page. What do you mean by contract signed?
Just some leads that we're working on, narrow those down and get the contract signed, like. So that's what we're working on for this week. That's the goal. And also for our pre-foreclosure landing page, what I didn't mention at the beginning was that property we closed on in St. Louis, the seller gave us a killer review. So we want to try to get that onto the pre-foreclosure landing page, as well as create some sort of a video to go along with it.
Love it. Love it. That's actually really, really good. Again, another very powerful asset, right? Once we have that up and be able to have as a marketing kind of element, right, to our digital side of here. JP, networking on bigger pockets for best skip tracer, lockdown sellers we have from our bandit sign campaign and text message campaign. So elaborate a little bit on what kind of networking you're doing on bigger pockets.
So we search for a lot of keywords on bigger pockets for people that make posts, about skip tracing or cold calling or anything like that, text messaging. And then we go in there and we try to make a comment and just add value to whatever it is that they're looking for, like not selling best skip tracer, but just making a comment, trying to ask them what they're doing and how they're doing it, and kind of share what we've done as real estate investors. And then, like, in my signature is the best skip tracer logo, and it says I'm a skip tracer. So hopefully, if they find value, they'll look down and try to connect with me and stuff like that. So we do that. And there's some other people, some other skip tracing companies, like some like Batch and REI Skip and a couple of the other ones that they have like a virtual assistant that goes and posts on a lot of stuff. So I'm following them and I just go to their posts and I comment underneath them. And so just trying to tag it like that, drive more people. And then, oh yeah, that's the bigger pockets one.
Lorraine, be a great place for you to throw some prospecting time in. Is inside of bigger pockets for investors looking for more passive style of investment. Yeah,
it's pretty effective too. Like every time we make a comment, we always get, either like a connection request or someone will click on our website and wind up getting something from it. So it's a really good place to go.
So basically go on the site and just, I'm not really, I've heard of bigger pockets, but I haven't really played around on there. So is it like a chat room?
It's kind of like social media in a sense.
It's an online forum community, basically. They got podcasts. They got a bunch of different sections that you can, go to for tools, podcasts, affiliates, stuff like that. But then, but more than anything, it's like it's just a big forum with a bunch of different topics and locations.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Okay, let's go down. So we already talked about that. Chris, let's see. Continue with more content production with Tour 4-part series. You mean 4 parts?
It's 4 parts. Sorry, typo on that one.
So what do you mean by a 4-part series? What do you got going?
So we have that common misconceptions going on. There's 4 videos to it, and then it's just making the last two. We already made the first two, making the last two and staying consistent on the days to post that, to get that up to YouTube and all the other sites and all the other social media sites.
So I loved your first video. Obviously, I mean, Lorraine's heard me say this like crazy. I think Kim's heard me say it before, you know, hurry up and get the first couple out of the way because they're going to suck. There's just no way around it. Your first ones always suck. I guarantee when JP did his first video, it sucked. I know when I did my first ones, they sucked. Right? Roger stumbled in our first podcast like 20 times.
I moved my hands like this and I didn't know what to say.
Ricky Bobby.
Exactly.
I loved it because you got it done, right? And you'll become more comfortable with it. However, at first when I started watching it, I was like, oh, that's short. But then I caught what you were talking about, it being a series. And this is something a lot of you guys can learn from. I'm glad that you're saying this week you want to try to get the rest of this series done. This would become great assets to also then embed onto the website in your FAQ section. Literally create the FAQ written, what's the common misconception, the written answer, and then embed a video for it. And you've got all 4 of these. And then I wouldn't even stop at 4, right? This strategy can be done for a ton of common misconceptions, misunderstandings when it comes to real estate investing, you know, blah, blah, blah kind of thing. Were you going to add something, Roger? I saw you unmute.
Yeah, that's 4 posts for your Google My Business as well.
Absolutely.
To add some value there. So you can just repurpose an image, right? Make it a little different. Don't use the same image, something different for your Google My Business. Write a small summary of whatever that's going to be and either redirect it. If you already have the blog post created and video on the website, then redirect it there. Say you're falling behind, you haven't created that, then redirect it to your YouTube channel. Does that make sense? Because you have a link back to your website. So regardless of where you're at, the spider web's going to follow. So all you're looking for is powering up your matrix.
Gotcha.
Then your second one was starting content / case studies for rehab projects going on. What's the vision there? I like this idea.
So I hope so. It's from you guys. It's from everyone on here. So we start demo on our first one Wednesday, and I'm going to literally try and capture everything, or as much as possible. This to me can go a little bit more into TikTok because I don't have any content or anything going on there. I'm seeing a lot of that with contractors going on. So that 4-part series was a little bit too long. So I figured this would be a good place to start with with TikTok at least, get something going on there. And then just going, part series with similar to the first one, just doing phase by phase and showing the production from the beginning to the end.
I like it. I would also written document some stuff. I think JP does a really good job of this, leveraging project updates in his blog side of things that you could also kind of map out. But then from a case study standpoint, I would track some of the data going on this project the whole way through, because when it's said and done, you'll be able to put a pretty cool little case study together, right? When it's done and pans out the right way. Kind of thing. What do I mean by data? Rehab length of time. What's the actual budget that we did, right? Some other data points that I would track is what was the interest paid back to the investor, right? You got a lot of before and afters. You could get super granular if you really wanted to and start tracking like how long did it take for us to get X work completed on it. X being maybe it's the floors, maybe it's the paint, maybe it's the rough work, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, right? Whatever. But track all of that through this whole piece. And then when it's said and done, now we've got a shit ton of data that we could pull from to make a case study out of.
Sweet. Okay.
Okay.
I'm on it.
And you can document that through video, right? Which then you've got it, you have it, and then you sit down and write this out, build something out around it, build a longer version, case study recap style video, that kind of thing. But if it turns out to be a really good project, or you got a couple of these right now, now's a good time to do it. And 6-8 months from now, you're going to have 2 really solid pieces of content, really solid pillars of content that then could be built into the site as great assets for you.
Perfect. I like it.
Cool. And I think that's everybody that threw something in the chat. So anything that popped up, Roger, that you want to add into any of that before I switch our gears here a little bit?
Yeah, I think Chris actually brings up a really good point, an opportunity to kind of monetize even further your content. So you're creating your content to try to drive leads for your overall business, right? The overall vision of what you're doing and everything. But there's so many little ways to monetize in between that I think when you do have opportunities like that, Chris, where you have projects right now, because they're not always there, right? You might finish this and it might be a while. So this is the perfect time to start looking at some affiliate opportunities, affiliate marketing opportunities, right? So what I'm talking about there is not even your contractors. We already know that. We talk about that a lot. If you have a contractor or whatever, what I'm talking about, you're going to create something where you're going to take a project step by step. Let's talk about when you get to the painting part, right? You start talking about, hey, we're about to kind of get in here, start painting this house from the exterior. I usually use Sherwin-Williams, and this is why I use Sherwin-Williams. Well, if you did your due diligence, went out and got an affiliate conversation going, some kind of relationship with Sherwin-Williams, then in your video that's going to live on your YouTube, that's going to be essentially a generalized video just for many people. They can go and follow and like what you're doing. And just because you mentioned Sherwin-Williams, they'll go, you can actually add your affiliate link or coupon. Most likely they'll provide you a coupon code that they'll use. You can put it in your description, your YouTube channel, on your blog, and everywhere else, right? So that's kind of one of the things that caught my attention as you were talking, is you'll be able to have an opportunity each series to find a couple affiliate products that you can pitch.
Thank you, Roger.
All right. So I want to open it up here first, and then we'll end with a couple other things. But I want to open it up first. Now that you guys got out, kind of what your plan is this week. Is there any questions that you've got on how to attack it, how to get more out of it, how to use it, anything? Any questions that might have come up? None? Okay.
We understand our assignments, Shawn. We are clear.
I always give it a few minutes because then Sophia normally chimes in with a question.
Did you know it was coming? It was coming. I was just trying to put it into words. Okay. So I'm dealing with the CRM, and I put some stuff together, some templates, and I'm just trying to figure out what the best method is to do outreach. So I got these leads and I want to do some outreach. I'm trying to figure out whether, I'm going to test them all, but just from you guys, just trying to figure out what's the best one to use. So I got, like the regular letters, I got the text messaging, the emails, and the last thing would be the cold calling, just because I don't know if I could.
Funny you bring this up, because I'm literally playing with a system and tracking some results to go deeper into this the day that we do the workshop. A little bit of a newer structure to some digital outreach on it, but give me some backstory first. What type of data do you have? What is this list?
So this list is just my driving for dollars. This is like a personal list that I've just sort of accumulated, just driving around. Yeah.
So if I don't know if you guys can see, you're not gonna be able to see that drawing up there. Anyway, the top is build, the left side is scrape, and the bottom side is buy. Right? When we talk data, there's only a couple ways that we can get data. We either scrape it, we build it, or we buy it. In your case, it's a built list, right? You've been driving around, got a bunch of property addresses, gathered some information on them, right? So we have an address, we maybe have a name, we maybe have some contact info, phone number, email. Do we have email on them?
Some of them, yeah.
Okay. We want to now do some outreach on this. We want to now put some information. This is cold marketing.
Yeah.
Straight up, right? It's no different than a cold text, no different than a cold call. They have no idea who the heck you are. So we're going to go back to what is the first stage of the customer journey?
Yeah, they gotta be able to awareness.
Awareness. They need to become aware of you before anything. So when we're going to get ready to make an approach out to cold audience, our first thought has to be, how can I build some awareness in them about who am I? Best way, or kind of when I say best, the fastest way of being able to do it today is leveraging the internet, leveraging the assets that you have. In this case, it's your website. Okay. However, before we just go and blast a cold audience, this is actually a task I believe I gave Kim last week to do, scrub down your list and narrow it down. Sophia, give me an idea. How many names are currently, what's the size of this data?
How do you got 40?
How many?
40.
40?
Yeah.
Okay. In your case, you're there, but I would challenge you to get super, super granular with this for a second. And step one would be, I want you to scrub through that list of 40 and try to find like your perfect 10.
Okay.
Okay. Give you an example. Kim has a database or bot data, right? That's, what did you have, Kim? It's like a couple thousand or something. Obviously, we don't need a couple thousand in real estate to make something happen. So I've got Kim and Jean scrubbing down to like 100, and then we really want to get it down to like our ideal 40 kind of piece. In your case, you already got a small database. You can go even more granular. And I want, when I say your sweet 10, I'm saying like sit down, do some due diligence, almost as if they already called you and said they want a cash offer. Spend a little bit of time going through that 40 and find the 10 that you're like, man, if I can land these homes, these are in the perfect area. They got good ARVs on the back end. They're like the sweetest thing that my business can ever have. Okay? And annotate which those 10 are. Not that the other 30 aren't any good. We're going to get started on the ones that make the most sense to us. Does this make sense so far?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then you want to go personalized, right? This is putting a huge spin on the traditional real estate taught freaking mass blast of cold audience. You want to get super special or super personalized in this first outreach. You're trying to create awareness. That's all you care about. So you're going to look at your site and look at some of the assets that you have. Do you maybe have some blogs around with some education or information that supports the type of house or the type of situation that they might be in, maybe the location of it? Maybe there's something specific that you have. Maybe it is one of your location pages where all these happen to fall into a specific location, right? Let the data drive this. But you're going to look at what do you have. And if you don't have anything, then the next phase is you need to build that. Okay. You need to build something that you can reach out to them and be very personalized. And what I mean personalized, it doesn't necessarily I need to know their name to be personalized. I'm just personalizing this information that when it hits them, they know I'm local. They know that I'm right here, right? And it is completely different. Therefore, it's going to stand out. And all it is about trying to get them to see something about you. Okay. From there, we continue to do the follow-up process behind it. I'm not going to get into the full kind of step-by-step or details on it, because you got just what I gave you can consume an entire week, right? If you really do the data research the way that you should and get this down. But that's why we want to go this granular. You got a small list, go as small as possible, because I bet out of that 10, if you just had a modest like 3% conversion, that's 3 people that say, let's have a conversation.
I'd be happy.
Right. And let's say your close rate every time you talk to somebody's at like 75% of the time, I end up working some sort of a deal out of it. Well, we're already at like 1.5 that turn into a deal. Does that make sense?
Yep. Thank you.
And again, I still got 30 other names out there. So I could go again at it and I play a different strategy. But right now I got 40. I don't need to reach out to all 40 right away. I don't need to be just so broad stroked and generic and hit all 40 when I can take a little bit of time, get granular on it, right? And do this. And it's a campaign that I'm actually doing at the moment with us, with a database that had a couple thousand names, and I'm shrinking that way down. And I'm going to be running some different metrics around it. And hopefully by the time we do the workshop, I'll have enough data to be able to do a little bit of a case study and breakdown for you guys on that. But I'm already seeing that reach out to appointment booked for our business, that percentage is getting way better than just mass blast emails to everybody, because I'm able to get a little more specific to it. Okay. So if you did that this week, scrubbed it down and show up next Monday. Actually, don't show up next Monday. I'll tell you why. Show up next Monday, but I wouldn't be able to help you next Monday. But if you ping me on Messenger at the end of this week or middle part of next week that you got it, I'll give you kind of a next step to do. Okay.
Will do. Thank you.
And the reason I'm saying show up next Monday, but I won't be able to help, I was going to save it to the end. Roger is going to be running the call by himself because I'm going to be attempting to summit Mount Whitney next Monday. We go in on Sunday, and Monday is supposed to be our day of summit. So we'll see if we actually get up there or not. I'll be on the mountain at this time during the call. Sagal, did you have something?
Yes, I did. I really like it. I'm going to do it as well because I feel like I can do it with the AI of RealFlow, maybe. I don't know. But I definitely need to reach out to other people. So when you are presenting the website, because you don't have any contact with them and you're reaching out, so do you kind of try and find them in Facebook and Instagram?
But so phase one of this whole thing is really just about scrubbing down first.
Okay.
Okay. Don't even worry about the second piece just yet on it. And this is something that I would suggest. Actually, anybody on here that's got a database of anything, I'm bringing my database down to what I'm calling my top 40. It's like the sweet 40 people, the sweet 40 businesses that if Roger and I could get these 40 individuals on as clients, they would be ideal, right? So I'm actually scrubbing a database of a couple thousand names down to 40 people that I think would be a perfect fit for our accelerator dominator type packages, right? Not foundations, not content. Do we have that database? Yes. But I'm going after these 40 people. They've got the size of business that they need our accelerator or higher to really advance. I know we won't get all 40 of them, but if I could just get 5% of that 40 at our top end packages, do you see how that's suddenly a pretty good campaign out of this? But I don't have to cold blast everybody. I can spend a little bit of time, do some research. In my case, I'm scrubbing down names and looking up the type of business. What's the real estate business look like? What does their websites look like? I can go into a deeper dive, and I'm starting to craft out the personalized outreach piece behind it. So if you have a database, that's the first thing to do is just look at it and say, who do I have and what makes sense? Real estate, if I have a list of addresses, well, let me get super granular and find all the zip codes out of it that I really want houses in that zip code. Or go a step deeper and do some free research, pull some information and find out what are the sizes of the homes. Is there a square footage count that I absolutely love? Is there a bed bath count that I absolutely love, right? Scrub this thing down as far as you possibly can get it, putting as many filters to it to get it to this sweet little spot of every single one of these. If I got somebody to say, yes, they want an offer from me, I would love to write an offer on this type of house or this type of situation. Does that part make sense so far? Then we start the actual outreach, but we're going to go very personalized. We're not going to go generic. Good? Cool. Anybody else got anything? Roger, you got anything in there?
No, not for this part, no.
And you guys will see over the next couple weeks here, the website plays a huge element into this. Because when you go to do a personal outreach, what are you going to leverage for this awareness? You're going to leverage the online side. It's the moneymaker for you on this. All right. Well, if nobody's got anything, then we're not gonna keep wasting a bunch of time. I wanted to make sure we're here to help you guys. So
I think that was really, really helpful because I hear, in our group, we have so many investors that are trying the old way of marketing. I'm saying old way, but everybody's doing that, those same things over and over. Not only is it super time consuming, but it's not very effective. And so I'm so happy that you're sharing that. That's so good.
yeah, it's something I've learned from a couple other agency owners, right? Roger and I joined a pretty high-end mastermind for agencies. And this is a strategy that a number of them have been using on that side of the house. And when they started to explain this a couple of weeks ago, I was like, whoa, hold on a second. This totally can work in the real estate industry. And then as I started to look back at it, we were already doing this before my real estate business. I was already doing it to a certain level, right? We kind of knew what our niche, what properties did we really want and not want, and I could only send some marketing to a certain area kind of thing. And we've all heard that before, right? Pick a zip code and just go gangbusters on a particular zip code, or pick a type of house, that kind of stuff. It's the personalized side behind it that is where the light bulb's really going to come on. But I don't want to confuse you guys too much yet. I want to be able to have the data and show you kind of what I did and how what I'm doing from an agency standpoint, how you can literally replicate that in the real estate space. And that's my plan, is by the workshop time to be able to do a 30-minute session that day around this and show you kind of how I did the outreach, what the response was, what was the next step, why did I do it this way, what you could do from there. And I'm just going to business owners. You're going to take this and go to a consumer, right? B2C, you're going to the homeowner. But there's a pretty cool way that I think you can pull this off, and it's going to make you stand out completely different, Mickey, as you just said. Like everybody else is just spray and pray mentality. We're going to take a step back here in this kind of offensive and kind of go one by one. But I don't have to spray and pray. That's the cool thing. Because you guys don't need 1,000 opportunities to hit your goals for the year. Right? How many of you guys have a goal to do less than 10 deals in a year and be sitting pretty well? Right? For most of you guys, if you did 5, 6, 8 solid deals in a year, you'd make good profit on it. Most of you guys are in markets where that number makes sense. John, maybe not so much, straw huts in the middle of Kentucky, but I'm kidding. But for the most part, we're in markets that profit range could be pretty decent on a good deal. We don't have to, bang our heads and do 25, 30 houses at a time kind of thing. Sound good? Unless you want to do it. Does anybody want to do 25, 30 at a time? I mean, this is the result. Okay. So a couple things I'll leave you with for some of you guys that and gals that might need to think about some assets that need to be ready to go to be able to attack this type of digital outreach. Your website is huge. So I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. Continue to fine tooth comb your website. Look for the areas of enhancement in it. Maybe that's a video. Maybe it's enhancing some of the content on it. Maybe it's enhancing the photos to make it more branded to you. Maybe it's testimonials on that site. That's the other asset that I would start looking at. I know Roger's talked a lot about it in the past. Google My Business. Do you have reviews on your Google My Business listing? If not, start getting some people to write them. I don't care if it's your friend or your sister or your cousin or somebody that can at least write something nice about you, the person. Yes, the ideal would be writing it about you and your business and the situation, right? Roger talks that all the time, having them say these specific things, but something is better than nothing. You know, Chris looks like a mean guy, but I bet he's pretty nice. I bet he's got this sweet spot, and I bet somebody out there would say something nice about Chris if you just asked them to write it about him, right? So look at that. Do we have the reviews on there? Some other stuff to really make sure that you've got in place is those of you guys that have had projects completed already, if you don't already have these on your site, at least the finished one, or think about how could I use a before after kind of gallery somewhere and put that together that shows a little bit of the expertise that you have. That's an asset to have as well. Anything I'm not thinking of, Roger, that probably popped to your mind from a digital asset?
No, you pretty much nailed most of the stuff that's important. I mean, not to, once again, one of the goals is try not to overwhelm and put some action items that are possible. So I think right now with that particular list, I think you're good.
Anybody got questions on that or on the assets or need clarity on any of them? Okay. Most of you guys that are on these calls on a weekly basis, you've got a lot of this stuff in the works or you've got it there on it. I just want to keep reiterating them so that you know what they are, keep them fresh in mind on there. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna do